I thought this would be a good time to cover some of the crimes that Timothy Egan highlighted that were committed during the Great Depression in the Dust Bowl. So today we're going to talk about scammers. This was a very difficult time to be alive, and people were desperate to do anything for money. But the most egregious of these scams that he talks about made me literally throw my book across the room. The Folkers family of Boise City, Oklahoma. It's spelled Boise, but it's pronounced Boys. Fred and Catherine were struggling financially just like everyone else. And to cope and take the edge off, Fred Folkers loved a glass of corn whiskey. Hey man, I get it. But in 1931, so 2 years after the financial collapse, Fred started to get these intense stomach pains every time he drank. Catherine begged him to go to the doctor, but the problem is there weren't a lot of doctors around. As I've described, this is not an ideal place to live, and doctors are kind of privileged. They had the option to go work in cities. But Catherine comes home one day and says, "Oh my God, we're in luck. There's a new female doctor in Boise City." So Fred goes to see her to appease his wife, and immediately the doctor diagnoses him with stomach cancer. The couple is devastated. That's almost a certain death sentence in the 30s. There's not a lot of cancer treatments available. But not to worry, this doctor has invented a cure for cancer. How coincidental. All Fred has to do is stay in her hospital for 2 weeks because she has invented a salve that she needs to apply with a bandage every day. Okay, now comes the next problem. How the heck are we going to pay for that? We are flat broke. The doctor said, I don't know, sell something. Girl, sell what? The air? But luckily, Fred has a secret stash of money that he never put in the bank. Fred and Catherine give this doctor every last penny they have. After 2 weeks of treatments, Fred comes home, and what do you know? He feels better. He's cured. Yeah, a couple of weeks later, his appendix burst. He had to be rushed to a doctor in Texoma, Oklahoma, and that doctor saved his life. Of course, Fred and Catherine go back to this doctor in Boise City. What do you know? She's skipped town. They can't confront her because she's nowhere to be found. When I tell you I was disgusted reading that, I know times are bad, but that is just so low. Another scam I wanted to highlight were rainmakers. So apparently there's this ancient theory that dates back to the 1st century AD when Plutarch observed that rain always followed military battles. So it was believed that aerial bombing could trigger rainfall. My eternal enemy Napoleon also believed this, and apparently he would fire cannons into the sky between him and his attackers to muddy up the fighting ground for them. In the late 1890s, Congress actually approved funds to test this theory in Texas, and these tests were done by a guy named Dyrenforth. With government workers looking over his shoulder, Dyrenforth could not produce one single drop from the sky even though he was firing dynamite into it. This poor guy from then on was known as Dry henceforth. Ouch. Another person who became obsessed with this theory in the 1910s was a man named C.W. Post. That's the freaking Post cereal guy. Cereal Man was obsessed with aerial bombing theories. He ordered his ranch hands to build a kite that could hold 2 pounds worth of dynamite. And he tested this theory 2 times. Once in 1910, when the kite was going up to the sky, it started to rain before the dynamite even went off. Failure. In 1911, he sent his kite up again. The dynamite exploded, and absolutely nothing happened. He was still obsessed with the theory, but unfortunately 2 years later he died and therefore could not test it anymore. In the 1930s, this theory was once again revived, probably due to desperation. A man named Tex Thornton brought this to Dalhart, Texas, the town I've been focusing on through most of this series, and he collected $400 from townsfolk to make this theory happen. That's a lot of freaking money back then. And of course, yet again, explosives were sent into the sky and nothing happened. So we know about the crimes of Prohibition, we know about bank robbers, we know about train robbers, but the thing that is not highlighted enough during this time period is scam artists, snake oil salesmen. They were very prevalent. So not only did you have to worry about starving and dust storms, but you also had to watch your back because anyone could be lying to you for $1. Thanks again for Wine and Crime for shouting me out. Check out their podcast. I absolutely loved it.